I kind of told you that it was happening, but I didn't give as much of a warning as I usually do, but we are live.
Oh no! When did that
It,
happen?
15 seconds ago. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Um, we're in the bad construction zone. It's dog hell, and also Nutman is here.
Oh no, man.
I hope that clarifies the situation that we are currently in.
I think his name was like Insane Cancer or something.
Yeah, that sounds
don't,
right.
Don't look at his nuts.
Don't look at his nuts. He's gonna want you to look at his nuts. Don't do it.
Don't look.
It's a trap. Don't look at the man's nuts. It's I'm realizing how much nut talk there was yesterday between stream and
there was
the rumble.
there was a nut apple produced during
There
the rumble.
was a nut apple. it was a lot.
Wasn't good.
I was very confused. It happened though. We did see it. The apple, not the nut. And it was a whole thing. Hey, the 3rd level ceiling is crumbled. For safety's sake, entry is forbidden. Door shut tight.
Ceiling's crumbled.
Yeah, I believe ceiling got
You wanna
crumpled.
go
I want to see crumpled ceiling.
I think the ladies' Royal Rumble were better than the men's one, and I was not getting a lot of frames. I could not see a lot of it, so that was an issue.
Yeah, it's not often that I like the women's events in WWE more than the men's events.
Don't have Punk and Homelander in them.
Yeah. Fuck. I cannot stress enough how upset I was when Cody Rhodes came out of my fucking number. Was actually honking. Oh boy. I won, but at what cost? It sounds like my neighbors. I know it's not
This is
them.
what Kaysh lives with 100% of the time.
Yeah, and I keep reporting it to management, and they just keep being like, "Well, we'll try and resolve it." It's like, will you though? Because it doesn't sound like it. Anywho, can I get a map? I haven't seen a map yet, and that's.
Does anyone need a map?
I need a map.
It'll be fine.
I don't know that it will. Okay, again, I will stop.
These are in game, by the way.
Thank you. I was gonna say, I will stop every single time that I hear those just to try and gauge whether or not that's in the game. It's when I say that, it's me looking over it at OBS and seeing if my mic is picking it up. Cause that's loud enough that if it were happening in real life, my mic would grab that. So thank you for the clarification. I appreciate it. They got good stomps in this game. They're very realistic sounding, especially with headphones on.
It does sound like if you had a really just inconsiderate person living directly above you, stomped around in boots all day.
Wow, can you imagine that? I can't.
Sounds made up.
Oh, jeez. No, as always, the original Silent Hills, delightful sound design. It's I don't
Good sounds.
right. I don't think I've played this one with as good of headphones as I currently have.
Ooh.
Like I remember, I know I streamed this one, but that was like really early on in my streaming. I'm not sure that I had my JBLs at that point yet. Um, but regardless, it's very scary hearing everything in like full surround. Um, yeah. Okay. Oh god, I have to go out here and there's gonna be knife men's. Oh god!
They're a bit weird, them knife ones.
Do we know what they're called?
I can't remember. They're one of the ones that the dude didn't design.
They're not a Masahiro Ito original.
That's the guy. One of the ones he didn't do.
I can see that. They are kind of like weirdly not his style. They're horrifying and I hate them.
Yeah, those are pendulums. They are good.
They're good. They're just it doesn't quite have the Ito flavor that we're used to. But they're
not
good
enough
designs.
of them is meat.
Yeah. I cannot see the bondage gear or the meat enough. Still hate him. Would hate to run into that guy IRL. Oh, fuck. Okay. There's a dog in here, I think. That's gonna
be hearing dog signs.
There are signs of dog around. I don't have the map to this area. Hey, I don't know if we know this, but I don't have the map to this area. That's being a bit of a problem for me. I think that's one of the issues that I tend to have in this particular zone, is that I always have difficulty finding the map. So this will be interesting. This is the only mannequin with a head. What is that? Just a mannequin? No, but Heather, you did say something else the first time. Okay. Fuck off. She doesn't have a head anymore. This is blood. It's bread. Sorry. Been thinking about bread a lot lately.
Just thinking about it's bread.
It's bread.
You're just walking around your house looking for all the things that are and aren't bread and saying, it's bread.
It's bread. Made myself a sandwich earlier and I got the bread out and I just looked at it and went, it's bread. Fuck off, dog! Sorry. Dog scared me, but it's fine.
It's fine. You were ready.
As ready as I can be. Oh my god. No, dog! No! Okay, it's fine. Be done, dog. And anyone else? Sorry, I'm like real jumpy today. I don't know what's going on. Hi, Emmy. Apologies. I'm just gonna like scream at everyone today. Sometimes you just get big old scared. Is that a map? No. It's some kind of poster. I just want to map. Is there nutmen in here?
The map's like actually like kind of hidden in this one, or is it? Did we miss one?
I am unsure. I also am not hitting this dog.
There's a mound of man in here. It's
Yep.
bad in here.
Let's just,
Oh, dog.
okay, dog is done being a
I got
dog.
Jackie over there.
Yep. So he's fine where he is. I am going to equip that just briefly for the Bigman situation. Yeah, fall over, and then we just... No,
Oh,
no!
God.
That's not how this is supposed to go, my guy! Heather.
We need to stomp him for 10 minutes.
It's not letting me! And I hate that! Anyway, how's it going? How are you doing, Emmy?
He's still alive because he's making kind of a racket.
There
Oh,
we
no.
go. There we go. No! Now we have to wait until he
Get that guy?
deflates. You'll see him deflate, and that's when he's dead. There he goes.
There he goes.
Okay. That dog is not bothering anyone.
Is there anything in here?
Powerful question. Does not look like it.
There's so many guys in here. Got nothing.
Yeah, I think that's just what they do. You know what?
Oh, dog.
I'm glad you're having a good day.
Nice.
Okay. Alright. Are we done? There's the blood. Music's still going, though. No, it's dying down now. Okay, great. Perfect. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's really anything in here.
Emmy's been running around all day doing its bread, but instead of bread, it's Shrek. Oh, it's Shrek.
I mean, Shrek is love, Shrek is life. So, I mean, it tracks. This makes sense. Sometimes you just gotta go around and say something is it's this all day. Even when it's not. That's just a thing that you have to do sometimes.
Some days it's just Shrek. You have a new Shrek command.
What is the Shrek command? What is this?
Sweary.
Is that the Star Fox game you were playing? The big guy who was like, nobody brings me gifts anymore. Is it that one? That guy? Hey! Doors are open just a smidge.
The underappreciated Shrek.
Horrible. That poor guy. Let us do a save. Please? Heather. I need you to not have to rub your face on everything in order for us to interact with it. Please. We need something to wedge that open. Also, we do have a map now, and that's very exciting to me, personally.
Yeah.
I would literally die if I didn't have treats for 1,000 years. So I get it. I understand. At that point, you just gotta act real dramatic. And then somebody will gift you a treat.
Because who's more dramatic than Shrek?
True. What was that? One of them I've already read, and the other just doesn't interest me. Okay, well, that's fair. We did get a first aid kit in there, though, so that's exciting. He just wants everyone to get out of his swamp. That's all he wants. Hey. Drawer. I like that she, like, didn't circle it or anything, but just drew to some vague point in the room.
It's in there somewhere.
Drawer. There isn't really... Oh, I guess there are... Okay, there are lots of doors I have not looked at in here. Specifically. Because I was about to say, I'm like, I don't know that there is anywhere else I can go. That's a lie. There are lots of places that I can check out. Well, there's 3. Correction on that. Elevator doors open a little bit. It's too narrow to go through, though. Elevator won't come. And we have an exit, so I can go downstairs? Question mark? Yeah! What's up? Nothing. There's a whole lot of nothing up here. Oh, just kidding. The silence is horrifying.
It's very good. In general, this game is like... you're just like walking around like the back rooms in a mall and stuff, and then like a disused office building. It's like,
It's very good and
It's
very...
not-
It's just... It's... Sorry, I thought I heard something. It's just the right level. I don't want to say like uncanny, because that's not quite the description I'm looking for, but it is very just like... I mean, it's liminal, right?
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. It's like
very...
places that are just a little bit wrong and off. And like loads of people have experienced like being in a mall like past closing time and it just feeling wrong and weird.
Hear those nubs.
It's just that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit different from the usual.
Oh god. Okay. Okay.
That's because like when you're not in Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Oh, in the dark world. When you are, then it's just all horrible all the time.
It's real bad. I don't know, they also just do such a great job of like balancing the times where you are with enemies and there's just horrible, uncomfortable noise followed by the like very unsettling silence. Oh god, I'm sorry, Nubs. Listen. If you wouldn't attack me, we wouldn't have this issue. But you do attack me, so we have this issue.
Those poor Pokemon.
They're bad Pokemon, alright?
They're not great Pokemon, but they're trying the best.
It's not good enough. I'm sorry.
The 6 or 7 out of 10 Pokemon with a lot of heart.
Oh, it's unlocked. Is that... Okay, I know where we are then. What? I thought the crease in the map was like the wall and that I couldn't get in here, so... glad we were able to... Sorry, Heather. I'll give you a minute.
She's so tired.
It's fair. She's swinging them all around and running everywhere. All sorts of silly things that she probably shouldn't be doing. Got a health drink. Excuse me? Hey, give me that, Jack.
She's
I
so
bet.
A mall the size of her, sorry.
Right? It's so large. Do love that her prep stance for it is just broom.
Yeah,
She goes broom mode with it.
Gonna poke him in the toes.
Watch out. That would end me as a person. I wouldn't be able to deal with stubbing my toe on that thing.
No.
We'd be done so. Oh no. Ah! No, Heather.
That's a bad room.
Fuck. No! Sir.
It's got a lot of health.
Yeah. It's not ideal. I thought I equipped that.
I think you just looked at it.
Ah, fuck. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you go.
We're fine.
You got him in the nut stump loop.
No!
Oh no.
I mean, I think he's dead now.
Yeah, all his
He's
blood came out.
Oh, this is a horrible room. And we'll do one more of those for good measure. I am trying not to use our guns super often because I think that was the reason I didn't finish this game last time I streamed it, is because we got to the last boss and I had nothing that I could shoot the boss with.
Oh,
So while it wasn't impossible, I had personally soft locked myself out of it because I didn't have the skill to be able to take the creature out.
Couldn't poke him in the toes?
No, there's no toes.
Oh no. Well, that'll do it.
Gallery of Fine Arts. Can't go into the office. Can I go into the gallery? How horrible is it in here? Not that horrible so far. The ceramic pot. It's not really my style. Alright, Heather. Now this is a calm, relaxing picture. Mountain! Nice and simple.
I trust ma'am.
Looks like there was a picture here before. Only the caption's still around. Flame purifies all. Isn't that the name of the Pyramid Head picture?
Oh, it could be. I don't know.
Wait, no, I think it's a puzzle. Never mind.
Right.
I know what I need to do. We're gonna ignore the registration notebook.
First, we need a hairdryer.
Screwdriver. Gonna start dismantling all of the watches.
Yeah.
Watch out. Okay, let's see where we're going. First, what is this camera angle? I got a katana.
You got hands of steel. Well,
Yeah.
you know, you just simply cut all the monsters in half in one swing.
Exactly. What did it say? Pretty powerful and easy to handle.
It's just a little guy.
Yeah, but did you hear how many times it hit everything around me?
This was Zomboid, you'd be good to go now.
Right? Nothing could hurt me.
I think they break really fast, but they just kill everything.
Be able to get like 15 zombies murdered before it explodes.
Yeah.
That'd be exciting.
Spears, but way harder to get.
There's not really anything else on this floor that we need to do. I am gonna go through this door just because we unlocked it, and I need to mark that I can go through it now. Okay. We go back to the stairwell. Because we have the jack now, so we can open up the drawer. And also we have a screwdriver, and I don't remember what that's for. So, isn't that exciting?
It's for taking all the light bulbs out of every car that we
Gotta get that mechanic skill up somehow.
It's horrible.
Can't go here.
This is where the roof's crumpled.
You're where the roof crumpled.
No.
Okay. Drawer is here. And then we'll be able to get through the elevator, because I think... Wait, no, we use the screwdriver to pop open the drawer. We use the jack to open up the elevator more.
Oh, yeah.
We use the
Makes
rope
sense.
to go into the elevator. I remember. Doesn't matter. We've got all of the items that we need. But I remember how we use things. It's items.
I like when you do something like use a jack to open a stuck door that, like, makes logical sense.
There we go. Not a very good jack, huh?
No.
It's a jack for babies. Right. We have to go into this hall. And then... here? Yes. Oh, wait. She's not gonna use it automatically. That's my bad. Use. I got a rope.
Nice.
And with that, we do a save. Hooray! Now we can jump down into the elevator. Isn't that exciting? Why we want to do that? Who knows? But we're gonna. Gonna automatically do it for me. Or are we just looking down?
Just not
We're just
gonna do
looking.
it for you.
Cool. Cool. We know now. I use the rope. Yes, I would like to use the rope to go downstairs. We just saved. Actually, for reals this time.
Yeah. Did you think she was just gonna fall and die because she didn't have the non-slip gloves?
Oh no!
Can't get him off Leonard.
Leonard's a bad man. That says mental health? There is no A in health. I trust the mental health clinic.
Yeah.
Interiors and floor. Fashions. Echo. Is there anything in here? Just clocks. Come on, Emmy, we're going to the mental health clinic.
Doesn't sound like a fun trip.
Let's go! Can I look at this book? This the reception area? There are catalogs scattered around. Can't look at that. Oh, hi! There's a door over here. Oh, it's broken.
If you ask where the A is, they open TripAdvisor and show you the A+.
Ah! You know what? That would be clever as hell, actually. You know what? Yeah, I'm here for it. Actually, our score on Yelp is an A+. Didn't even know they rated by letters. That's how good they are. What is this? What are we doing here, Heather? Well, you have this. What? It's not connected
Not
to anything.
connected to anything.
I knew it.
Just teen behavior. Oh. This is what happens when she doesn't get her bread.
Oh no.
It's red. Hi, Devo.
It's being
Can I help you?
invaded by the other world, by a world of someone's nightmarish delusions come to life.
Is that Vincent?
Am I Vic?
Am I a murderer?
Oh no.
You're a murderer, Vic. No.
Did she do this too?
When are you finishing that game? That horrible Resident
It wasn't
Evil
a great
game
one.
was not good.
You might give it another go someday. Just don't know where you go.
Yeah. I was very confused.
We're in like a lab just walking through corridors of Mr. X's, just coming out like on an assembly line.
Excuse me? Oh, okay. Yeah, it was kind of a lot. I can't talk about that? Okay. Alright, Heather. That's cool. That's fine. Oh no. I was just trying to wiggle my mic around, and then the horrible crawly man came out.
Horrible crawly man's name is Slurper, by the way.
I fucking hate that. He's my least
slaps.
favorite.
If you throw jerky for him, apparently he'll slap that too.
I don't want him to slurp my jerky.
He'll slap your jerky.
No. Please stop. Hold on, I have to change the title of the stream.
Oh no.
Alright, we've updated the stream title, it's fine.
It's no longer bread. We're in the other world now. There's no bread here.
It's just jerk.
Only slappable jerky.
I'm dying.
Murdered Cash.
Oh my god. It is Vincent! My horrible creepo boyfriend. Mine, not Heather's. He's too old for her.
Heather. That's what you're called now, isn't it?
He's played by Kit Harington in the second movie, and it's weird.
Someone told Kit Harington to do an accent in the second movie, and they did not specify which one.
So he
chose
did
all
all
them.
of that. It's
He just
so
cycles through them.
bad. It's so bad.
You mean Claudia?
Kit Harington is a horrible actor, just
It's not
generally.
good.
That crazy old hag.
It's so bad.
I guess.
And the second
crazy
Silent Hill
old
movie
hag
is terrible.
a bit harsh.
I hate the first one. I hate the first Silent Hill movie. It's not good, but I can at least,
You don't remember?
aside from the damage that it has done as a whole,
Yeah,
I can
that's
appreciate
the worst of it.
what it tried to do, but the second one just like
He hid the truth
I don't
to keep
know
you
that
on
anyone
side.
understood what was happening.
That figures.
And it was
He's a
bad.
big sneaky guy.
Don't talk about my dad like that!
I just remember that Kit Harington is in it and does all of the accents. And Malcolm McDowell is in it as well, and it's very upsetting to me personally
Yeah.
that he's there because he's so phenomenal. Not in the movie, but it's just he's wasted in it. And also there's that weird like mannequin creature that's like the horrible creature in Homecoming.
Not yet.
And it's awful and it screams and it's the CGI is horrible. Anyway.
I feel like I'm going crazy. Does this place get to you at all?
Oh, it gets to me, all right. I find it most fascinating.
Vincent, you weirdo.
Wait,
Weirdo.
I'm not finished
I
talking.
fucking love him. He's such a
He's
freak.
very good.
How do you figure?
He's extremely a Silent Hill character. He's so weird.
He's definitely one of the characters that makes like Heather's being like more grounded just very funny.
Yeah.
Cause he is like 100% like full on. That's a Silent Hill dude. That's a dude from Silent Hill. And it's
He's a Dahlia tier Silent Hill character.
for real. Just get him a giant novelty tie and boom, he'd be perfect. Also, what is this? When you pour diluted hydrogen peroxide onto manganese dioxide, oxygen is produced. Oh, that's yeah. Okay, that's we need another bottle of a thing and a lighter, and then we have fire. And isn't that exciting?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just gonna say the voice actor for Victon absolutely killed it.
Absolutely.
It's the perfect combination of like just normal Silent Hill weird to just like charming, funny
He-
character.
He got the script and he understood the assignment.
Yeah.
Say no more, fam. I don't want you slurping my feetsies.
Don't get slapped.
I'm gonna get slurped. Ah!
Oh my god. Oh wow.
No! I have no idea where anything else is. If I just keep swinging, maybe we'll be fine. Okay, okay, okay. That dog is handled. Where's the other dog? Okay. It's bad here.
So many layers of noise going on every time you're in Silent Hill. You can like build it up the way the first game does. It's just full
No.
on, straight
It
away, all of the noise.
It just says here, have it all. And it's kind of a lot.
It's a
I don't
lot of
know what
noise.
I don't know why I'm in here. I don't know that I want to be in here. Oh, I guess I'm in here. Oh,
Hope you wanted to be in here, cause
because I sure am in here. Can I open? Okay. I do want to check the other doors. Is the only thing. Dog! Dog, no! No! Dog! Fuck!
Sword has a bit of trouble hitting any of the enemies that are lower down than the sword.
Yeah, just a little bit. Ah!
Which is a problem when we're surrounded by dog and slurper.
Horrible slurper. This is back where we came from. I just need the door on the left, and then we go on the elevator. Understood. No, that's where I came from. I think. No, that's the Vicnant room. Okay. No dog. Is this? That's not the right elevator.
It's fine.
Ah!
You're fine.
We're fine. We're fine.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna top off real fast, but that didn't do nearly as much damage as I thought it would. So that's nice. First floor? Are we on the second floor?
I genuinely don't know. I think we're on the first floor, right? Because we went down all the way.
I mean, we are now.
Oh, okay. We were on the second floor.
Yeah, we were on the. Okay. That's all I needed to know. Somebody is. Oh! Hi! You good? The hell? I don't want to get too close, but I don't think it'll attack me now. All bark, no bite! I don't think now is the time to antagonize it, Heather. But you do you, I guess. It's locked. Okay, I don't know if there's anything we can do down here for the time being, unless there's a lighter or... Oh, fuck off.
I don't know what that sound is.
It's Bigman.
Okay. Is this what's
No! You know, it took him down pretty quick.
Yeah, he broke out of it once, but didn't do a bad job. I think he just exploded.
There he goes. Okay.
There we go.
Even when he makes the noise of "I'm dead," there's still that concern. I have to
I
see
didn't
him
mean stop
deflate.
stomping on him. I meant,
That's fair.
I think that was the one.
We got some pork liver. Fridge is empty, obviously. Why do we have liver? I don't remember what liver is for. Unless we have
What
a...
pet use liver for?
Powerful question. Don't remember if we have like a tentacle monster like in the first one. Is it the first one? Pretty sure it's the first one. No,
First
maybe
one
it's James. Where you take the blood bag and you throw it at the tentacles and they move away.
I
No,
thought was
that's the
one.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hospitals are confusing in Silent Hill. 3, 4. But yeah, that's a first one because you get one of the Alice plates from it. I believe.
Yeah.
Where am I? Okay, someplace I haven't been to at all yet. Understood.
There's also the other tentacles that come out of the fridge and instant kill you, but that's unrelated.
Yeah.
I do really like that. Even though it's an instant kill. It's just very it's cool.
It does give you like a vague heads up where it's like, oh, there's like this weird sound coming in here. Are you sure you want to open that?
It gives you a heads up, but like there's never been a point in the game where it's just killed you for doing something like that. So
No,
you
definitely.
assume it's gonna. It's fine. There's
But
just it's the one in the game, and I'm pretty sure you save right next to it.
So it's a good one.
Yeah.
Go to 5. What's
If
on
it were in
4?
this and it said, "Hey, you sure you wanna open that?" Then you'd know that it's probably gonna kill you if you do. So you just do it the ones to watch the cutscene.
Lock is broken. Bad up here.
Oh, he's horrible.
They're not good.
He slapped the jerky.
Excuse me, buddy. Just gonna walk on through. I think there's another one up here. Yep, there he is. Okay. I hate it here.
It's not great.
It's very not good. Hey, but we do have a save spot. And that's nice. That's what we're looking for. Seen this before? Wait, no, I've never seen this. I do know something though. Locked.
Does look a bit like one of the last bosses in the first game.
Seems a touch familiar.
Weird.
Alright, let's do a save. Nothing else here. Can I? Will they let me put this in here already? No. Can I? What good is oxygen on its own? Okay, yeah. I remember now. We just need the lighter at this point, or some way to set a fire. That's what we use the liver for. What good is oxygen? Sorry. just cover that liver in some hydrogen peroxide. Oh boy. Doesn't that sound delicious? Excuse me.
It is impressive that they managed to layer up so many horrible sounds and still have the very distinctive sounds for each type of enemy that's near you.
Right?
And they don't get lost in the mix.
It's very good. Hey.
Three's like the one that was like the team will just like, we really want to make this. This is the story we want to tell.
It's from my general understanding. They had this idea for 3, like when they made 1, but they like didn't necessarily make it as obvious in 1 just because they weren't sure that they were gonna, you know, be able to make more games. So they had it be standalone enough that it would be fine, but intriguing enough information there as well to like continue the story later. But then they wanted to, they did 2 instead, and then they all got together and were like, actually, let's finish this out. Let's finish the story we had for the first game. And I like it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh, I probably should have saved, huh? Oh well.
Jeez.
I don't think this kills me, but it's just good practice to save before you do a thing. Nicely done. Now we save.
Oh, you did save like 30 seconds before. So, we were doing alright on saving.
Yeah. This seems fine.
Yeah.
We're not worried about this.
No.
Okay. Bye, guy. What are these papers? Priestess accepted the king's request and went to the village gates. But when she saw the monster, she tried to convince it with words instead of killing it. Shut up, you! I'm gonna eat you up! The monster didn't listen to a word the priestess said. But she kept trying to convince the monster to give up. It's wrong to eat people, you know? The monster was very angry at this and attacked her, killing her with a single mighty blow. No beginning and no ending. Really don't understand the story. Probably just some pages torn out from the middle of a book.
It's not a great story.
Not a great story. Where
It's
am
a cautionary tale about why we don't yell at monsters.
I? Never speak to monsters, only murder. Ow. Oh god. Heather, get up.
Getting slurped.
I don't want to be slurped. There you go, boys. Oh god. Well, that's not what I meant to do. I was trying to open that door. It's real fucking bad in here.
Yeah.
Oh god. Okay.
There is one or two of them in there.
Yeah. We don't like it. You need to keep being in there, though, I think. Oh, I should heal. Because, oh god, hi, Farley. Just into the first door I can get to. I see you under there. I see you. You're not being clever. How many bullets do we have? Lots.
Still doing pretty good on bullets.
Don't come out. No, you're under there. Come here. No, Heather. Heather doesn't wanna. Yeah. Yep. Cool. Love
Who
that.
knew? Who had any idea there was a guy under there? Not Heather, apparently.
No!
They do sweep the leg.
They're so bad. I hate them. Like, a whole lot. What's the overhead attack? Okay, it is a downward swing. Understood.
Don't go that down though. I'm not sure it'd hit the slurpers.
No, but it would hit dog.
Yeah, probably dog.
Oh. It's real thing bad around here. Oof.
Lost to Memories Silent Hill Chronicle mentions that they are named for their habit of slurping up the rust-coloured blood and bits of flesh that stick to the floor with their pointed bill.
Awful. I hate it. I do
They
not
have
like
to
them.
slurp.
They could just not. though, is the thing.
Be hungry.
Good. Let them be hungry then. I'm not here for it.
The like symbolism section for all of the things in Silent Hill 3 is so bad on this wiki.
Oh no.
It's so bad. It does say slurpers resemble well-built human males, so we know that now.
Thanks. I hate it. Thus one's life turns to riches. What was a bag of silver coins is now the number in a book. Yet fate hath no price. But do people know this? Do I put a coin in here? I put a coin in here. We use a coin. Rust juice.
I love drinks, brand drinks.
Hey.
Hey!
Life insurance key. Great. Wonderful. Okay. Where is a life insurance room? Elberton Life Insurance. Down on the first floor. Okay. We just need to get back into the elevator and go to the first floor. Oh god. I think this was the right door. I really hope. Yes. I know where I'm going.
Would you say a slurper resembles a well-built human male or a wibbly floor goblin?
I'd say it looks more like a nub horse, but maybe that's what well-built human males look like to some people. Like. This is peak physical condition.
Yeah.
You may not like it, but this is it. The ultimate male figure. Boys, if you don't look like this, you're doing it wrong.
Get down on the floor and start slurping up those rust-colored bits of flesh.
Oh, I hate it.
Just crawl around licking crumbs out of the carpet.
Oh my god. Horrible. We're just doing our part. What was that noise? Oh,
That was a new
oh, I didn't like it. That's what Lily does. Oh no. Gets down on all fours and slurps up that great rust juice. King and his people shed tears at the death of their kind priestess. God took pity upon them, and granting their wishes, healed the priestess. Priestess opened her eyes just as she had done every morning of her life. She went once more to the monster's lair. Fool, you wish to die again? No, this time it's your turn. Priestess had come to defeat the monster once and for all. As the priestess was very, very kind, she felt sad about this task, but it had to be done. Swords and spears won't work, arrows and bullets will just bounce off. You can't kill me! The monster laughed. The priestess used neither sword nor spear. She chanted but a single spell. Tu fui ego eris! You know what happened then? The monster let out a huge cry and then died and vanished. The end. Thus the villagers were able to use their gates once more. Everyone lavished their gratitude upon the priestess. They all lived happily ever after.
Tu fui ego eris. Weird writing.
Do we need to remember that?
What was that?
Nope, she's done it for us.
Nice.
You heard that monster
Oh,
cry?
oh yeah. That's the guy who was wibbling in the hole.
She's done it. Good
I
job,
understand.
Heather. It's all done. Meat Man's here. Where'd those slurpers go? Oh my god, camera, please.
Did they get killed by your spell?
Yeah, I
That'd
think
be
it's
nice.
I think they're all done now.
That's lovely.
So we can just leave. I think we're done with the construction zone. There we go. Let's look at everything on the floor. Let's try rereading it. Once upon a time, there was a monster living at the gates of a village. It was a very scary and very bad monster. Catch people and crunch them with its big teeth. Okay, well, that's fine. He just wants to go home, despite the fact that the story seemed familiar. It's time to go home. Home, home, home. This. My apartment is the other way. Okay, but I was trying to look at the things on the ground. Heather doesn't give a shit. She doesn't
No.
care. You know what? That's fine. I
She only
guess.
cares if it's bread.
It's bread. I feel like that we're just running around in the street with a katana.
Like we
This
do.
is fine and normal. Heather, would you like to? I know you want to go home. Would you like to tell me which one is your home? I have to get home. Cool. You want to tell me which one is your home? No? Okay. Well, wander around this side of the street then.
Lady, please. Where do you live? Give us a hint.
I'm trying to help you, Heather. But I need... Okay, there we go. Very dark. Whee! I'm sure that's where we need to go. But what if there were things over here? What if there was absolutely nothing over there, actually? It's the Daisyville apartments. I'll give Heather a second. She's good. Anything cool over here? Can I shove some juice cans in there?
Or an EKG machine. Was this before or after Siren? After, right?
After. This came out in 2003. When did Siren come out? 2001? 2002?
I'm putting Forbidden Siren so I know what we're talking about.
Oh,
2003, both games.
okay.
2003 in Japan and 2004 everywhere else.
Okay. Huh. Whoa. Found my house. I found my house.
Nice! Good job!
It's my house. Hope you're ready to cry.
Oh.
Dad, I'm home. Listen, something really crazy's going on. I think we should... Dad? Dad?
Rip.
Rip Harry.
Rest now, my beautiful boy.
No. No.
It's tragic.
Yeah.
It's true. He did get to at least 10 years after. So it's not like he got home immediately after Silent Hill and then fucking got sliced. It's still horrible. Man
This
deserved.
is about the best you hope for when you're involved with Silent Hill. You get to just be fine for 10 years and raise your daughter.
Yeah, he still deserved better.
Did you do this?
My beautiful boy.
Too late. But why?
And you're barefoot.
Revenge for 17 years ago, for one thing.
Oh, excuse me, 17
7
years.
Our dream would have come true.
Yeah, because I guess
And
Cheryl
then
Heather
took you away from
was a
us.
baby. Became baby again.
Went back to 0.
Yeah.
There is another reason.
I mean, he had a pretty
To
good run.
fill your heart with
Yeah.
hatred.
But it could have
It
been
must be
better.
Yeah, they had to kill him off because he'd have just sorted it.
No.
He was too good a dad. It's making all the other horror dads look worse
And your
than they
true
already
self
were.
as well.
He'd have just gone out and stomped all the monsters.
Just instantly handled everything. Have you seen my daughter Heather? She's about this tall, 17 years old. Blonde hair.
He's the one who killed your father.
This fucking guy.
So, what will you do?
Probably die. I know we just saved,
All begins.
but I am gonna save here as well.
Silent Hill.
Just so we don't have to go through cutscenes
Yeah.
again. Oh my god. Why did it equip my my handgun?
Are we gonna go blade to blade?
Yeah. Nope, never mind. Fuck. Wait, can I? Did I block that?
Is that parry?
No. Okay. Heather, stop swinging. We've got a lot.
Yeah, we got
Oh! I
Dang.
forgot that
Oh,
blade
they flip out.
extends. Yeah.
He can block bullets.
Yeah, that's
He's fucking Adam the Clown over here.
horrible. Heather! Now's not the time to be winded. Are we... Get up. Are you... Not sure if she was hurt before, and that's why she had slowed down. Or what was going on there. You fucker. Okay.
very squiggly.
Yeah. No. Okay, we're fine.
It's not letting you just chain stomp him forever, which is
Uh.
a little rude.
Just a bit.
Yeah, shooting him in the butt a lot though.
Good. Fuck.
I feel like a lot of these shots are just going through him without hurting him. When
Yeah,
he's
I
standing completely still.
am missing a few of them, unfortunately. Stop!
Some of them he's just not ignoring.
It's not great, is the thing. He is bleeding.
Dang. He came with the sword.
Got him with the sword. Fucking ended him.
Like Metal Gear Rising. The music kicks in.
Oh no.
I don't know what to say.
The lyrics fire up as you go into blade mode.
Say anything.
No. Oh.
Fine. So just get out of here and leave me alone already.
Oh, Heather, I don't think you are
Calm
fine.
down. I just...
Calm down? How am I supposed to do that? My father is dead. He's murdered. Get out. This is all your fault. If it weren't for you,
I'm sorry.
then go.
If it'll make you feel better, I will.
Bye. Get out of here, Douglas.
Is he okay like this?
Douglas, he is dead.
What else can I do? There's no one here to give him a decent burial. I'm sorry, Dad.
What do you do now?
I'm going to Silent Hill.
What's in Silent Hill?
I don't know.
Do you think it's safe?
Of
No.
course it isn't. I don't know what kind of hell is waiting for me there, but I've got no other choice.
It's bad.
I don't care about God or paradise. If that's what she believes, then fine. But she won't get away with what she did. When I find her, I'll kill her myself.
Revenge doesn't solve anything.
Maybe not, but that's what I'm going to do.
Sir, I don't believe you fully understand the situation.
None of your business.
I'll give you a ride.
I don't need your help.
Yeah, but it's too far to walk.
And
Besides,
you saw the state of the subway
I'm
earlier.
responsible for this. I'll bring the car around back. Come by when you finish saying goodbye.
You know, you might die too.
That's fine. Nobody's gonna cry over my grave.
Alright. Walking into a bed. I know how to navigate. Rip Terry.
Best dad of all time.
Honestly, though. Fine, he can join the Best Dead Dad Club along with Ethan, so...
Yeah,
you
that's true.
know.
It's not great being a dad in a horror story.
Oh, you're either a bad dad or you're a dead dad.
Yeah, it's like 80% awful, horrible dad, 20% dad past tense.
Not the dad past tense. Oh no. Oh, Harry. All right. Let's get to Silent Hill.
I just met some guy named Vincent.
Bicknin?
Vincent?
He's a friend of yours, right?
No.
I'm not sure.
He said when we get to Silent Hill to look for a guy named Leonard. And he gave me this map.
Not Leonard.
What do you want to do?
We can't trust him, but we've got no other choice.
Thanks for the map. Do need this.
Here, take this too.
What's this?
Your father was holding it.
Aww. Also, I want to say we're about at the, like, 2/3 mark for the game. We're getting through it.
Yeah, we're not doing bad.
Mm-mm.
Started raining. Are you sleeping?
I'm awake.
You cold? What's the deal with Silent Hill anyway? It used to be a nice, quiet little town. But now,
You've been there?
once, on a missing persons case. Never did find him. But I'll tell you, that's one screwed up town. My line of work, you hear a lot of nasty rumors.
I was born and raised there.
Sorry. I didn't mean to offend you.
No offense taken.
Anyway, I thought you grew up in Portland. What's wrong? Feeling sick?
My head's pounding like the worst hangover ever.
Maybe you're car sick.
No. I'm just trying to remember. My childhood. Something terrible happened in Silent Hill 17 years ago. A woman named Dahlia. She tried to summon the ancient god of the town. She offered up her very own daughter.
That's crazy.
Maybe so, but it worked. The girl gave birth to a god. You see, that girl had special powers.
Oh.
Powers?
Her classmates called her a witch. She could make things happen with her mind. She could kill people
She was
just by
full of
wishing for it.
poltergeists.
But in the end,
But only because she's a girl and is more susceptible to that.
Yeah. Girls are full
Cause-
of poltergeists.
Known fact.
It wasn't much of a god if it could be killed by a human being. But I think Claudia's trying to do the same thing again. And I've been chosen as the sacrifice.
You've got some kind of power in you too.
After the god was killed, the girl reappeared. She was holding a baby in her arms. Before she died, she gave the baby to my father. He loved me just like I was his very own daughter. Even though he didn't know who or what I was. It was so sudden. I never had a chance to tell you how happy you made me.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
Aw.
Just a very good scene.
Yeah.
Love this game.
Yeah, it's cool.
I might head for that Leonard guy's house.
I do like the
You check
music
out the
and when it's
hospital.
not in the like horrible path.
When it's the
Yeah.
more melodic stuff that they have,
Yeah.
that's very good.
I'm not a child, you know.
I mean, I kind of like the horrible music too, but I like it for a different reason. It's not
Yuri-
listening music.
Right? Akira Yamaoka, very talented across the board.
I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I'm 50-something years old.
That's why weirdos hire him in a desperate attempt to add legitimacy to their project. To this very day.
It'll never work. It won't ever work.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll wake up and have a smoke already. Meet me back here when you're finished looking around the hospital. Okay?
Roger.
It's sad that his name keeps ending up on utter trash, but
On shit products.
yeah.
Yeah. At least, I mean, for the most part, it doesn't seem like anyone's like, you know, really associating the garbage with him, though.
No,
Wait. Just as it is unfortunate he keeps being pulled into bad projects.
if the check doesn't bounce, he will do music for your project.
I can respect that.
Yeah.
Gotta get paid.
Yeah. It's just, it's
Yeah.
it's like, it's some really bad stuff. It doesn't like, it does kind of, it makes you a little sad. But
Oh, absolutely.
and also like, it's not great music. 'Cause he's not as involved as he was with like Silent Hill.
Yeah, a lot of the projects.
Just ask like, hey, can you do a music for my game? So then I
Well-
can say that you did a music for my game.
And that's the thing. It doesn't seem like he's doing like the full soundtracks, which is what they
Absolutely
want you
not,
to
yeah.
think. When they're like, "See, it's music by," and it's like. like, no, they just get them to do a single track, and then, oh, okay, Heather, that's cool. And then they get music from elsewhere. And it's wild. Hey, Rosewater
Was he
Park.
one of the people on Nightcry?
I don't think so.
No, it were different people for the music, wasn't it?
It was someone who did some of the Castlevania music, I think.
Someone who did the music, the Castlevania music, and someone who did the Metal Gear Solid music.
Yeah.
And like, neither of them actually make it into the game because the game is bugged in a way that means only the same music track plays over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But they are on the CD soundtrack you can get.
You can purchase for about as much as the game is. Doesn't that sound fun? There are creatures here, and I don't have a weapon equipped. I think he supposedly did music for that one asset flip,
Yeah.
Stray Souls.
He was definitely on that one.
And when they roll the credits, I think he's only I don't even know if he's listed in the credits. I don't think they used any of the music that he may or may not have made for them. So, you know, that's cool. Run down this road for a while. This map looks familiar, huh?
There's a little bit.
Just a little bit. Horrible knifeman. We just need to get to the hospital. Just gotta go to the hospital. We're now at the hospital.
That's a hospital.
Who?
There's some noises going. Oh.
Classic nurses.
Yeah.
Ma'am.
Do they have the parasites or the...
Do believe they do.
Oh, the back's out, but it just looks horrible and cut up.
I don't know.
There might be a lumpus in there.
Looks like a lumpus.
No, you're right. From that angle, I'm pretty sure I saw a lumpus.
Horrible breathing. Oh my god.
They're squiggly and weird.
Yeah. There's nothing here. It's like it reminds me of like a puppet.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Sweep away.
No! Ma'am, that hit you!
You would think that would do more damage.
God, she doesn't
She
flinch.
doesn't give a shit.
Oh, and that's very upsetting to me personally. Do I have... Okay, those are shotgun shells. I thought that was like rifle ammo for a second. Okay. Well, we know now. We just won't fight them if we don't have to. The main trouble is these hallways are very tight. and it makes running past them a little difficult. This is the exact same map from the second game, which I like. I appreciate that we're visiting the same location, and thus, it is the exact same map. Lock. We just came in here to save and get our maps. Great. Nope, don't run into the table, Heather.
The nurses are meant to be like halfway between the nurses in the previous games. Masahiro Ito says the design does not have a special meaning, but it is influenced by Heather's subconscious memories of Lisa Garland.
I can see that. I'm here for it.
Just horrible monster Lisas everywhere.
Poor Lisa. The day has finally come. That's right, the day when you and I will meet. I was always thinking of you here in this gloomy cell. I never even knew your name or face until today. But now I know. I know you're the one I've been waiting for. Haven't you been waiting for me too? That's why you came to rescue me. Oh, how I love you, Heather. I want to give you my prized doll I made to commemorate our meeting. The start of this everlasting love. I can already see your smiling face. Stanley Coleman. Stanley, that's a little upsetting, buddy. Disgusting! That's a good call, Heather. Good plan. Yeah, do you not remember? It's a thing. I don't think we like actually meet Stanley. I think he's some dude here who's helping Leonard. I think I know who you're thinking of, and I don't think it's the same person. Fuck off!
Okay.
It's a bad room.
That's a bad room.
Oh, it's bad everywhere.
Just 3 of them in a dang tiny little room.
Oh.
Yeah.
The organization has me shut up in here. They mean to break my will, to make me forget about all that. I think Stanley is one of the patients here. But again, we don't run into him. I don't think it's been a minute. I'll stay sane even if they throw me in here with lunatics. How about if I stick this to the wall? That would be worthless. You can peel it off, can't you, with that junk those nasty wenches won't stop using? If a thing has no meaning, there's no reason for it to exist at all, just as you exist for me. But why haven't you taken my doll with you? My gift must have embarrassed you. How cute you are, Heather. Stanley Coleman. Stanley, bud.
Hey, Stanley.
I will
Fuck
cut
off.
you.
Stanley, I have a katana. The steel was folded 1,000 times.
Watch out. There's key glued to the wall. Love to take it with me, but it's really stuck in there. I have to get, like, I think, like, rubbing alcohol or something.
Is that the stuff they use
All the time.
around here?
Probably.
That's Stanley we're talking about.
I think so. Oh no. Okay.
There's a door right by you.
There is.
Fuck.
If only.
Would have been nice.
Exam room is the only other one. Fuck! You horrible bitches.
Horrible bitches.
I just listen. They're bad, and I hate them, and they're rude, and they're mean, and they hurt me a lot. Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah, they do a ton of damage. That's horrible.
They hurt me so much.
It's a really bad combination of like closing off a lot of space and being very fast.
Yeah! It's not good. It's locked. Okay, there's a lot of rooms that I need to check here. And I really need them to
Who's
stop
breathing?
heavy breathing into my ear.
Please stop breathing in my ear.
I do not like it. It's very upsetting. Okay, that is blocked off, and she is marked that it is blocked off. Great. Lock is broken. those are all checked. Little closet is not going to have anything in it for us. But this room might not have anything in it for us.
We would like some key remover gunk, please.
Can I get
Doctor's
some loot,
office.
please? Medical record for something. It's for this Leonard guy. Could this be the same Leonard that Vincent was talking about? Room S12, presenting mild audio-visual hallucinations, emotional instability, obsessive ideas. Suspect mild schizophrenia. Will continue observation. Basically calm and cooperative with a strong sense of justice. However, according to reports, becomes very violent when overexcited. The other one is for Stanley Coleman. This is the guy who wrote that sick diary! Usually passive and cowardly. Also, egotistical. Sometimes
Can we
shows...
treat that here?
No. No, he's incurable, I'm sorry. Sometimes shows and acts an obsessive attachment to a particular woman. This has caused violent incidences. Use caution. Yeah, he's just some not great guy. Is the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got there's E,
There is E.
and there's the little closet.
Closet's not gonna have nothing for us, but we'll try it.
It might have nothing.
Don't have nothing? Had nothing? That's not E. E is right here. No!
Oh, the elevator. E for elevator. I got you.
Yeah! Did
You
that not-
can't lift here, Kish.
Oh, so it should be L for lift, not
Yeah.
E for lift. I understand.
You should do L for elevator.
That makes sense to me.
It'll work both ways.
Oh, jeez. Okay. I said S12 was Leonard, and like S07 or something was Stanley. That's
I've already
third
forgot,
floor.
but I believe you.
It was definitely a 0 something for Stanley and a 1 something for Leonard. And that's as much as I can tell you. Disgusting! Sorry. It gets me every time. You may not yet have realized your own true feelings, but you sense them unconsciously. And so you're trying to get closer to me. That's a virtue, the path to paradise. If the door's locked, open it. Use the password for the prison gates. Doctor, I've forgotten his name. Anyway, that quack has it posted. He should be here too. I mean, 4 numbers would have been good enough, but he kept on going. Isn't it a shame I'm not there? Aren't you irritated? I long for you, but you're so cruel. Still, I want you, Heather. Yeah, hammer that man. Give him the
Yeah.
ban hammer. Typewritten memo posted here. What's this supposed to mean? Oh, fuck, it's one of these. Okay. I have a piece of paper here. The first is larger than the second. First, larger than second. Second, twice the third. Should have just taken a picture of this, actually. Third, smaller than fourth. And the fourth is half the first. Listen. Thank you for banning Stanley. 4 of the numbers are not repeated. Oh god.
How many numbers are there?
Too many. Stanley said that he could have stopped at 4, but he kept on going. 4 are not repeated. 3 are not in the top. Oh, okay. Right, because it's on a pad. Not in on the top row. 2 are not in the right row. You mean column? One of the numbers is the final key.
So that would be 9.
Unless it's
Or
flipped.
0.
Final. Okay. Is this where you want me to enter that? 9. That's probably gonna be the one that's the biggest, right? No.
So we're looking
Oh,
at like
no.
6 numbers. How many numbers? How many? Just press like 1 as many times as you can and see how many it takes. Oh, it's not. Okay,
No.
it doesn't stop when we got enough. Horrible.
Yeah. Maybe it's just 5. Since there's not, because any more than that would be weird.
So then there's 1 repeat if there's 5, because 4 of the numbers not repeated.
Yeah. 3 are not in the top row, so that doesn't help me. I don't. Hold on.
I did screenshot the whole thing.
Okay. I have written it all down.
Oh, okay.
But
I'm posting it in spoilers anyway.
no, that's good. That's helpful. 2 are not on the right row, which they mean column, right?
I'm assuming they mean column.
So 3, 6, and 9. 2 are not in the right row. That's just 2 of the numbers. So that's. Oh my god, I hate this. I hate this. There has to be more clues around. Please. Maybe there's not though. We do have a couple of rooms that we can look at, so I'll think about not actually doing anything with those numbers for a little bit, and then we'll come back to it. Not knowing the exact number of nail polish remover. That's what I need for that key. Give me that key. Something else in that locker? Oh, and some perfume. Okay. Oh, wait, if I use the perfume, they ignore me, right? No. Never mind. That's the wrong button. Is that all of the rooms here? Almost. Where is there? I guess we don't really have a locked door per se. Except for the stairwell, which is probably the key that Stanley has on the wall. Okay, let's go get that first. Go to the 3rd floor? No. Stanley, you freak. I'm trying to get your key. Oh god. I regret everything. Oh, it is bad here. Oh, it is bad here. Use the nail polish remover on the horrible wall. And then we get that dang key. Got the stairwell key, so we can get to the 3rd floor now.
Nice.
Oh god. Where is stairwell? Literally right next to me. Great. Love that. I don't want to be out there anymore. Oh, where are we going, Heather? Oh, okay. Lock is broken. It's a wheelchair. Okay. I'm sure that's fine. And all the blood on the floor is definitely not concerning or anything. Why? The suspicious space between the shelf and the wall. Can't squeeze into there, and there's no way I can move the shelf either. Okay, never mind. We'll come back here later. Hey! We have a submachine gun.
Oh.
What
Sorry,
trail
I was
continues into the
trying to
elevator?
work out the puzzle.
No, that's fine. Submachine gun bullets.
Nice.
I'm hoping that by wandering around a bit more I can find like another clue or something. Again, there's just not. If it were just like the first set of hints, like the first is larger than the second and blah blah blah, all that, like I could figure it out. We could work that out, but the fact that there is an unknown amount of numbers after that.
Yeah.
And like I said, like I would assume it's just 5 because trying to guess any more than that would be strange. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's who knows? Who fucking knows? Hence why I'm just like we've got other things that we can look at the moment, so we'll focus on that for the time being. It's locked. Oh no.
So none of the ones can be 9 in the riddle. Because the first one needs to be halved, and the second one needs to be less than the first.
Mm-hmm. So
But
the
it
assumption
says
is
one of them's the final key, which we're assuming is 9.
and I would assume that that would be like the 5th number.
Yeah. But that means 4 of the numbers are not repeated, so we need the same one to come up twice in the first riddle. Because if there's 5 numbers, 2 of them need to be the same one. Wait.
Do they?
No, that
They
don't work. There's got to be 6 numbers.
No.
Because if one's repeated, then another one is also repeated. Sorry.
Oh.
Only 2 of them are in the right row? I don't know how you do the first riddle with most of the numbers being in the right row.
2 are not in the right row.
Yeah, which means 4 are if there's 6. And 3 of them are on the top row out of 6.
I don't know if those are hard and fast, or if it's just saying that at least, like, you know, at least 2 aren't there. Possibly more. Again, this is why I am looking around for more clues.
Yeah, that's fair. Sorry.
We have more creepy notes from Stanley. Stanley, I need information, buddy. Is the thing. You wanna... What are you looking at, Heather? Ah! The lady is in the wall. Is there anything in here? No. Okay. Just the lady. Just the nurse. Horrible. There. Storeroom. Oh, hey, save point. I'd love to see it. Oh, and a horrible note. Sorry, did that say stun gun? No, stun gun battery. A battery for a stun gun. Where's the stun gun? What do we have here? My most sacred lover, I'm always watching you, no matter where you are or what you may be doing. I've never lost sight of you. I know you feel intensely lonely, yet with a single key to this door, those feelings won't stand in the way any longer. We haven't been able to see each other for so long. Be patient, just a little longer. I'll be patient too, even though I long to hold you in these hands of mine. He is behind the shelves in the underground garage. Why there? Ask that idiot doctor. Not a single person here who's right in the head, not just in this hospital. I mean in all of Silent Hill. Except me, Stanley Coleman. Buddy, please. I need to be able to move that shelf, and I can't do that. Heather says it's too heavy. Really only played for 2.5 hours. Well, I guess there was that little bit of time that we lost when the save didn't work.
I don't believe the time on the save screen is correct.
It doesn't feel right.
No.
But, you know. Who knows? Okay. We've looked everywhere here. And the only other place that we can try and do something with is the storeroom, but I don't think I can. Because I don't think Heather is beefy enough. Go to the first floor to go to the basement. And then once we do that, we'll go look at this horrible door. Whoop. At the storeroom? No. Where is... It's at the end of the hall. Heather, will you move the shelf now? Junk, don't think it's important. Streaks of blood as if something got dragged, or continuing on to the back of the shelf. More like they start from the back of the shelf. What do you mean? Okay, I can't do anything with that just yet. Let's go look at the bad door. And honestly, probably just look up the code after a tiny bit.
I'm almost there. Probably not almost there.
it's not a great puzzle. Is the thing.
It's not an ideal one.
Not really been given all of the information that we need. Like, how many fucking numbers are there, sir? My guy. Up to the 3rd floor. Oh wait, no, I needed to go to the
I'm
2nd
pretty
floor.
I'm working on the assumption there's 6 numbers,
Okay.
and the last one's 9. So it's really just 5 numbers that you need to work out. I don't know if this is correct. It's possible I'm just way off.
Let me do a real quick save. And then, where are the stairs? Over. Please, Heather.
It's the one the top are in the right row ones, which I'm assuming are had fast rules. Only 3 are not in the top row, only 2 are not in the right row. Those are tripping me up.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
Okay.
Fuck. Oh no, we're here.
Yeah. It.
So the first cap. It's got to be like 8 or 6, right? Because there's no other useful numbers to make. No, the 4th is half. I guess it could be 4, and then the 4th could be 2. 3rd's smaller than the 4th. So, but the 1st's larger than the 2nd, so that doesn't work. No, it's got to be. It's got to be 6 or 8. Sorry. But then we just saw. Hang on. 8 and 4 both out in the right row, right?
Correct.
So that can't be it. So it's got to be 6. So
I
one
have
has to
looked
be
it up,
6.
and it's very rude.
Is it nonsense?
It's only 4. It's only 4 letters or 4 numbers. So
But how can
Stanley's
anything
saying,
be 9?
there's just no 9.
Oh, that's just nothing. It just means one of the numbers is last.
Yep.
So none of the numbers is repeated. None of them is 9. That's a ruse. 3 are not in the top row, so only one's in the top row. So it's got to be 3 because that's the smallest one. The 3rd number, sorry. And only 2 of them are not in the right. So we'll go. We'll do a 3 for the 3rd one, and a 6 for the 2nd one, and then 8, 6, 3, 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey. Okay. Would never have got it. Honestly, if
if
you
it
hadn't told
were-
me how many numbers there were.
Well, that's
Why
the
did
thing.
they? No, downstairs say I thought it would just fall, but he kept going.
I don't know. Stanley's being an asshole is what's happened
Just
here.
Stanley sucks.
Yes.
I mean, we knew that, but also, why say that? Like, no one has ever worked this out on their own. This hasn't happened.
Yeah, it was kind of rude. Like, literally, if he had just not mentioned that in his note, then there would be less
Yeah.
confusion about how many numbers. I would just assume that
Then
there's
we'd
a
assume
4,
there was 4.
and then just work it out based on what we were given, and that would be fine and doable.
Yeah. Even the last one would have still got me because it makes you think it's gonna be a 9, but nothing can. You can't have. No, if he hadn't said that, I wouldn't have. I'd have just had to disregard that because you can't have. The first one had to be the highest number, and you can't have 9. There's no decimal points on there. Yeah, it's just Stanley's not fucking everything up.
Oh my god! I
Oh my
forgot
god!
the fucking nurse has a gun.
Where'd she
Okay,
get that?
I don't know, but I don't think she should have that. I don't think that should be allowed. Oh god, I am hurting.
That does a lot of damage too. Hey, being shot's bad for you.
Yeah, don't get shot. You should consider. If you can avoid it, don't get shot. Hey, don't do that. Hey, stop that. What is the time? 7:31.
Looks like 7:31.
Just write that down real fast. Then I assume that's the code for this. Gotta open up that attaché case. Oh. 0731? It's unlocked.
Hey,
I got an instant camera. Nothing else interesting in there. Oh, I think I can use the camera on the shelf.
oh god.
It's a bad room. Fuck off! Heather, get up.
I was just having a quick nap. Oh god, this. I thought you were stuck.
I also thought I was gonna be stuck, and I wasn't gonna be happy about that. No, 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 no.
Just gotta keep the gun lady rotating so she can't stop to shoot you.
Right? Ugh. I'm back in this room, which is not where I want to be, but that's okay. We can go this way, and then we can leave.
Sometimes just not being in the hallway anymore is good enough.
Yeah. Now we go to the basement. Because I'm pretty sure that the code for the 3rd floor is different than the code for the 2nd floor, and we get the code for the 3rd floor from behind the shelf. I think.
Wheelchair. Here?
Here? Weird.
In a hospital?
Unheard of.
Yeah.
Heather. We're gonna use that. Nine, 1, 5, 2.
That one's easy. No math required.
Let's write it down. Call it good.
Although I would never have guessed to use the camera on the random cupboard.
But she said it looks like that the blood was coming from behind the shelf. Not that it was going behind it, and it's too small for her to get through.
Still not sure I'd have got there ever.
I also like the rooftop. Makes me want to fly. You too? Jump off the roof, Stanley. I want to be up here right now. Oh!
No, no one wants to be here.
No, but... No!
Oh,
Okay.
Oh god.
Oh.
She dead?
Yeah. Not entirely sure how that happened. Because the man punched me the once. But...
Yeah, and it looked like she was getting up, but then she didn't. And then she went, ah, like 5 minutes after you'd been punched.
Yeah.
How far back away?
I have to go unlock the door in the second floor again.
8634.
Yeah.
Sorry, I like just tuned out of stream for like 10 minutes trying to math this.
You have it written down. Always
Okay.
have a notebook on me.
I
Always.
mean, that makes sense. It's good practice with Silent Hill.
Let's look at that real fast. And because we know it's bad out here, we're just going to do this right away. So if I die again, it's fine, actually. Does not look like there's anything else here. Get back out.
I got some
now-
machine gun bullets.
Yeah, and we'll need those later.
Get like a
second.
TMP like Leon.
I don't know what it is, but I have one. I have
I
a
don't know.
gun that shoots fast.
That was me asking what funny little gun you got. Oh, you got an Uzi?
Just a little gun.
That's an Uzi.
It's a funny little gun.
It's a funny little Uzi.
Wait, why didn't that reload? There we go. I wanted my map. Is the button that I meant to push. I know it's locked. Go. Now we have to run through the bad hallway again. Heather, you were meant to... Thank you. Yeah. Are you the same? You are. Great. That makes it easy for me.
Yeah.
Seven, 3, 1. Okay. Then... I don't think any of these other doors were unlocked. And if they were, I don't care.
There were nothing on that floor. I think one of the doors were unlocked and there were just 3 nurses in it.
Yeah.
And it's like the second time it's done the random 3 nurses room with nothing useful in
room.
it.
It's a bad setup. We don't like it.
No. I'm getting breathed on again.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back down to the basement because I don't... While I have the code, I don't know if I need to activate this sequence in order to enter the code. Also not sure if I saved before grabbing the stuff that was in there.
Okay.
Does look like I've grabbed the things. Okay. But also to make sure that the game doesn't get mad if I break sequence, we'll just do this. Also, what if it's rude and randomizes it?
Oh yeah, that's true. I feel that the ones in Silent Hill 2 do that.
Mm-hmm.
Except do.
Yeah, you did. Nope, still
9152.
9152. Oh, didn't need to look at the junk. I have an understanding that it is junk. Did I not touch that door?
There you go. Here's
what's-
the same exact hospital from the second game, like the layout.
Mm-hmm. It's
Just
great.
kind of weird. Yeah,
I love it.
didn't expect it. It's a very different hospital in the first and second game.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think
think-
the downstairs is always the same, but then the upstairs gets really weird and
Yeah, they are different hospitals. Because the one in the first
Oh,
game is
that'll do it.
Alchemilla.
why
Whereas
are there
this
two
is
hospitals in this tiny
Brookhaven.
town?
Lots of tourist accidents probably. And this is like I think this is like across
There's
the
two
lake.
hospitals and a sanitarium.
Yeah, it's well, there may not be a sanitarium. Depends on if you're looking at Origins, which we are not.
Okay, that's fine. We'll disregard Origins.
But there are two hospitals. Alchemilla is pretty tiny, all things considered. Brookhaven
Yeah,
is
it's very
huge.
small.
Um,
Alchemilla feels bigger because when you're walking through it, it warps into a nightmare maze
Yeah.
of platforms over
Complicates.
bottomless pits that lead to nowhere.
Yeah, that complicates the layout a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brookhaven is the one that was in to, but Alchemilla is where like, you know, Alessa was held and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, what this one? 9152. It's unlocked. That's a door into a restroom? Or is it a room of rest? Gotta assume a room for resting and not where you pee.
Why not both?
I mean, you do you.
Read Gossip magazine. I want to know the gossip.
Gotta give me the deeds. It's very important.
When I hear about celebrities that I don't know and will not remember the names of 10 seconds afterwards. Is that jerky?
It's jerky.
Perfect. You do get a lot of jerky. It's not like it's fine on the like slurpers and dogs. Maybe even not on the dogs a lot of the time because they're in corridors and they just get mad if you go near them.
Yeah.
And you have to go near them because it's a corridor.
Goodbye, Heather. I'm sorry I wasn't able to respond to your love. It's all over. Leonard despises me because I made fun of it, saying it would come to this. If it weren't for his meddling, I would have been able to meet you in just a little while. And I could have taken you to my world. A world for us alone, more beautiful than this one. And I had been waiting for this day. For today. The day I'd see you. The day you'd save me. Today! Heather, watch out for him. Leonard is no ordinary guy. Farewell. Okay, bye. Bye.
Special guy, Leonard.
Uh,
I think I saw a pipe.
yeah, but I was
Yeah,
checking
still
doors.
bad. But
Heather! Not as horrible, but it's still not great. Hello?
Hello?
Claudia,
No, I'm not.
don't lie to me, Claudia. You're always trying to run from your responsibilities.
ridiculous dream.
Wait, just listen to me for a second.
I've heard enough from you already. How did you turn out this way? Where did I go wrong?
Listen to me already. I'm not Claudia.
You're not Claudia.
My name is Heather.
Heather.
Who are you?
Leonard Wolf. I'm sorry. I thought you were my daughter.
Claudia is your daughter?
Oh, so you know her, do you? Are you one of her followers?
No.
No, never. When I find her, I'm...
I can feel the hatred.
What?
Behind your words. The anger. You plan to kill her, don't you?
I'm
Is
sorry.
Leonard a Sith Lord?
She killed my father.
Horrible.
She's a fool. But she's still my daughter. I was going to forgive her if she changed her ways. But I see it's too late. Heather, will you help me?
Help you?
I'm locked up in here, and I must stop Claudia.
Where are you now?
I'm not sure myself, but the door is at the end of the hall on the second floor. I think I can be of help to you. I have a seal. Please.
A seal?
I trust Leonard.
Yeah. He has a seal.
Hall on the second floor.
Guess we're going back to the second floor. Right after I check these last two rooms. Heather.
Do we have a key for that, or does it just open now?
I assume it opens now. I heard a gun click.
Yeah. If someone's clicking it, yeah, I wouldn't worry.
I'm a little worried.
It's a bit rude for him to just shoot you.
They're horrible. Let's do a save. Because I think things might be swapping around on us a little bit.
Oh.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. Wrong way. And then we go to the second floor. And we go help our good friend Leonard.
I love to help Leonard.
Love helping Leonard. Oh boy. Do love helping Leonard out. What a guy.
Love a good Leonard. It's definitely louder everywhere.
Yeah.
One of those has a gun.
Yep. But it's fine. Leonard. Okay. Hey, Leonard. I was hoping that maybe there were goodies over there.
Leonard doesn't want you to go that way.
No. Hey, Leonard. Bud. Al. Sorry.
It's got really messy in here. They need to send the slurpers in.
Oh, God. Please, no.
Have,
This is
have
a
a whip
slurp.
round.
This is a slurp-free zone. None slurps.
I like Roombas
Horrible.
for people.
Oh. Fit male form Roombas.
Yeah. Well-built males. who
Well
are
built, that
also
was it.
Roombas.
Horrible. Oh, wrong way. Hey, Leonard. Hey, Leonard! This is kind of rude, buddy.
I had to check what they said about the giant dick one.
And did they talk about it being a dickworm?
It may seem to resemble a phallic instrument, which is the most possible words you could ever use to say.
To just say,
It's a
hey, it's a
donga."
dick. Hey, this worm, that's a penis. Heather, I know you're tired, but I don't know where we're going. Leonard is stopped us from going anywhere.
Leonard.
Oh, no, he wants us to go this way, even though he didn't open it for us the first time. Okay. Hey, Leonard, I hate your maze. I don't want to be in your maze anymore. So it doesn't make my head hurt.
Still has no need.
Aw, it's my baby!
Eyes don't open. Getting a pulse, but just barely breathing.
It's Lisa.
Why? What is keeping that child alive?
Spite. Am I daydreaming? More like watching a video in a dark room, but that nurse! I know her! Lisa, who was so heavenly toward me in that hellish hospital room. Did get a little weird, though. Well, I mean, that's just what happens when you're, you know...
She had a lot of drugs.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're force-fed drugs and are hanging out with the Antichrist, so...
And the drugs make you see hell.
Yeah. She did what she could. But there you go. If you needed any more evidence that Lisa was actually one of the good ones... We've heard it. Horrible. That one has two heads. No, that's his arm. Never mind. Yeah, you spin that valve, buddy. You're doing a great job.
He's having such a good time turning it.
His favorite. Oh boy!
Oh. Oh, it's squiggly here.
Yeah. I don't know why Leonard was hanging out here. It's a bad place.
There's a door there?
Yeah, it's all meat.
Some meat is growing over the door. It's fine. Again, they need to send the slurpers in. They'll hoover that stuff up.
I don't think they should be allowed anywhere.
How would you keep the place clean?
Well, there they are.
Okay, we do got slurpers.
Please, get up, Heather. How badly did that hurt me? Kind of a bit.
Yeah. You do get extra hits in after they push you down sometimes by walking on you.
It's horrible. Stop.
And the police stopped laying down for a really long time.
Ah! Well, I've just run in a circle now. I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this doesn't look helpful.
And there's lots of doors I didn't check because I don't think I realized they were doors.
Yeah.
Dead body hanging from the ceiling, blood dripping from it has totally filled the bucket set out. Who would do this? And for what? It's like a full-out bloodletting.
I let all of his blood out.
Can't believe they let out all of his blood.
Do we need to do something with that? The camera loves that bucket.
I think so, eventually. I don't remember what though. The hospital bit, a little bit of a blur. Hey,
Ooh, bullets. And a hand.
hand outside the window. Okay.
Just a hand.
Just a hand. We should probably call it here because I think we can finish the game out in one more sitting.
Yeah.
And I'm also starting to get a little tired. I need to do an eat. So, good progress today. Like I said, like I think right as as we go to Silent Hill is the like 2/3 mark.
Yeah.
And so we're doing all right. Making some good progress. This is the first of the Silent Hills that's taking us more than 2 sittings. I think that's just because we were a little shorter yesterday than what we normally do for these. But
Sorry, man.
Just a little worried about Leonard. Yeah, it's a Leonard situation.
He
It's
slashes
fine.
and nips.
It's horrible. At least he doesn't gnash.
What's mashing?
Let's.
This one is substantially longer than the first two.
Yeah,
We've
it's
been
got
doing longer sessions.
Yeah, but we're making good progress, and I'm happy with.
I have been really having a good time with this.
Yeah, 3 is so good. It's so good. Genuinely one of the best, not just like Silent Hill games, but like one of the best sequels to a game ever. They do such a lovely job of like tying things up and just real good. Yeah. I don't know. Good game. For now, I think we're gonna go raid Nimbly. I don't really have that many people on at the moment. That is the wrong button.
Well, Loon who's playing like a... You know, Loon is like way into games that are set in like ancient China.
Yeah.
That but Harvest Moon.
Oh, jeez. I didn't think Loon accepted raids.
No, Loon doesn't accept raids, does he?
No. Unfortunately.
But hey, that thing exists.
That is an option if you want it.
I love Loon, but Loon does not like raids.
Why is OBS telling you that Chew is on and Diop is on? Because that's not correct.
Chew is not on. Diop is not on.
They were on earlier. That's fine.
Yeah, Chew definitely raided out because I had them open in another tab.
Alright. But yeah, we're gonna go say hi to Nimbly. We'll finish out Silent Hill 3 this coming weekend. And I'll be doing more Cult of the Lamb this week. As always, as long as my energy holds up and I'm not feeling too horrible. So yeah. Thanks everyone for hanging out and going through Silent Hill 3 with me. I love this fucking game. It's real dang good.
It's really good.
It's delightful, and it's been very nice to play a Silent Hill that is good again. We haven't even gotten into like the most egregious ones. And it's already starting to take it's taking its toll already. But yeah, we will see y'all next time. Have a good night, friends.
Bye.